Rolling.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Bleeding Crypto's Morning Brief. This one, we're going to do it live with the community. We haven't had a live Zoom session in quite a while, so I figured, you know what? I just got back from vacation. Let me do a live one just to connect with you guys, see what you guys are feeling, what your thoughts are. If you guys have any questions, I mean, we've been talking on Discord. It's not like we don't talk. We've been talking on Discord a lot. But there's something about the live Zoom sessions that just seem to be a little bit more special. So right now, I just want to open with this chart just because I was talking to Luke about some possibilities. So here's my chart. I'm sure you guys remember. It wasn't too long ago that I created this chart of a possible. This is one scenario. So this is a pretty much, I would say, almost a full, yeah, not almost, but a full retrace if we get one. This is kind of where I was thinking. We have some confluence in the market structure and the charts that line up. So we have the head and shoulders formation that would end. It would line up perfectly with the Fibonacci at 886, which is a level that we all like. And it also lines up to major support in this area here, if you look to the left. So this was just one of those possibilities. One of the things that I do want you guys to keep in mind, after such a major run on Bitcoin, I think there isn't a single person here, especially at this level of where we're at, that we don't say 618 is almost inevitable. So, you know what? This area, just to be clear, when we give a fib, remember that this number here doesn't mean that it has to hit this exact number. We are actually inside of 618 right now. This wick and all of this price action below the green is in 618. We're just used to having it, when we look at the fibs and when we put the fibs on it, we're used to seeing those perfect touches. But remember, that doesn't have to happen, those exact perfect touches. This is in the realm of 618. So we can say we've already retraced and we've been kind of consolidating inside of this 618. So could this dip further? Yes, it can. One of the things that we also look at is the EMAs. Now, here's another possibility. Being that we're already inside of the 618 area, the 100 EMA is not that far. Now, the EMAs is something we've all seen how well they get respected for support and resistance, and we're not that far. We're only a little over 3,000. Oh no, actually, I'm sorry, a little bit more on the weekly. We're $5,700 away from that from that 100 EMA. I'm going to pull up this little percentage here. I want to see. It's 17%, guys. Have we seen a 17% drop on Bitcoin ever before? Of course we have. It's not that far fetched that we could fall 17%. Now, keep this in mind, guys, when we're looking at this stuff here, we're looking at it because we don't know. We don't know if it's going to go to 100 EMA. We don't know if this consolidation inside of 618 is all it needs to reset the indicators. I mean, look at the MACD. The MACD, when I pinch it like this, you can already start seeing that little bit of a curvature. Could it go lower? Absolutely, it can go lower. I mean, when we double click on it, it'll show you that it's still pointing down. However, look at the volume oscillator. It's printing up. So the momentum, the downward momentum is being slowed down. Here on this side, you can see the real steep decline. Now we're on the opposite end of that. We're starting to not lose as much momentum. It's getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Eventually, what we want to see is for it to reach, up here and then reverse and flip into green. Looking back at 2017, this is 2017. Look at the MACD. Look where it went before she hit 3,000. Before she bottomed out, this is where the MACD was. Look where we're at now in comparison. We've already passed that. We're already below the area where Bitcoin turned around back in 2018 from the 2017 pump and hit bottom. In 2014, we're way below the area where she hit bottom. Black swan event, we're way below the area where she hit bottom. So this could very well have found consolidation inside of this area. We have to be aware of all possibilities because, like I said this many times, everybody has a theory and everybody wants to believe. Everyone has a little bit of bias in them. No matter, you're all human. We're all human. Even though people say, "Oh, we got to be emotionalist," I don't care either way. We do. We do. One way or another, a small piece of us wants us to either continue to go up, and a small piece of us want for it to go down. And then there's those that actually want both because we understand that when it goes down, the amount of money that we're going to make is much, much greater because all of us in here believe that Bitcoin is going to hit another all-time high. None of us believe that it's going to zero. So that's not even in our realm of possibility because we wouldn't be here if that was the case. No one would be putting money in crypto if we thought it was going to zero. So when you remove that out of your mind, it now becomes how much money can I potentially make? What's the possibility? And we all know, well, not all of us, but most of us have been here in this space long enough, know that the further this goes down, the more ROI that we're going to be able to take advantage of. So it becomes a bittersweet scenario because we know that we're not smarter than the market. So obviously we're buying on the way down. So it's never nice. It's never a good feeling when you buy here or when you buy here and our bags are in the water. However, as it goes down, we're also getting excited because we know that we are increasing that ROI. Let me give you guys a quick example. You buy today, and we're going to use all-time high as our number. I'm not saying that's all it's going to go, but as an analyst, we like to use numbers that we already have in our chart. So we're just going to use this as an example. You buy right now, and it's 111% ROI. Look at how much it changes from just dropping to the 100 EMA. Look how quickly that goes up. An extra $5,000 give us 57%. That's a lot of percentage for just $5,000. You think it won't be that much. 5,000 bucks ain't that. It's a lot of money. So and as the further you go down, the more percentage you're going to get. If we're lucky enough to go down into the 886 area, that's almost 500%. 500% is a hell of a lot of money. And again, since we don't know, we're all used to just buying and holding on the way down. I don't suggest anyone who is buying right now and is looking at this as a goal, as a marker, put any sort of stop loss on any of your buys, because if you are buying down, you are daily cost averaging. If you're putting a stop loss, you're telling yourself that you are afraid this is going to go to zero. And if that's the case, you really shouldn't trade. You haven't understand what crypto is, and you don't understand the history of crypto, and you don't understand the path of where crypto is going. So I suggest don't even bother. Just stay on the sidelines, watch it. Then one of these years when you feel confident, then you can play the market. But putting a stop loss is a sucker's game. It really, really is. For any long-term holder, it is a sucker's game. Stop losses are utilized, is a great tool for day traders and scalpers when they have to, they can't watch the computer. They have a plan. They understand market patterns. They know that if this market pattern or this setup fails, they get stopped out. They're able to win, they're able to play another round the next time. But for for most people that are long-term investors or swing traders that have regular secular jobs, there's no need to put a stop loss. You just basically daily cost down until you find that one area that you say, okay, you know what, this is where I just don't feel comfortable anymore buying, and I'm going to wait. And we all go through that, guys. Trust me. Everyone goes through that in the beginning when you just don't know yet. And then you get so low, you're like, you know what? I'm not going to buy anymore. I'm not going to buy anymore. For Bitcoin, I think most of us are pretty comfortable. Even if this thing went down to $3,000, that's when I think most of us are just going to put even more so. And we're closer to that attitude than to the one I described earlier, because we just seen it go to $64,000. So we know where it was. So we're more apt to buying it at a much, much lower price. But market structure as it is says that this is a good possibility. This is a possibility that we may see because there's a lot of confluence in our favor. But like I said, you never know. Now, another asset that many, many people like give me 1 second, sorry, is Ethereum. So let's take a look at Ethereum. Give me 1 second here. Let me just pull up Ethereum. Oh. Okay, let's look at Ethereum. Let me look. Let me just reset this. Give me 1 second. Let me move this out of my way. There we go. There we go. Okay. So Ethereum, we've already looked at how beautiful. This is what a lot of us expect 618 to look like. A perfect touch. This is 618. Look at how beautiful she just hit. But this is 618 as well. We don't have to touch it. We're already in all of this price action inside of here is already inside of 618. Now, I know what a lot of us are looking at this here. This is the daily. Look at this beautiful W. Gorgeous setup. I mean, all day long, we play this type of setups, these W setups. However, you have to keep in mind that Ethereum, as bullish and as strong as it is, it does not outpace Bitcoin's drop. So as perfect as this setup may seem, if Bitcoin decides to drop down to the 100 EMA, which is $5,000, this will drop with it. Do not kid yourself. The only thing that would save Ethereum, and we've seen this before with other coins, is when there's a major event and the market is dropping. We'll always have those 1 or 2 unicorns that are just being bought up and it's going the other direction. But for the most part, we have to assume that this will come down unless some really major event comes out, and maybe it'll go the other direction temporarily. And so you want to be careful with that. I wouldn't bet on it, to be honest with you. I would wait to see what Bitcoin does. But this is an extremely bullish market structure. However, there are things that you want to consider. One of those is the 200 EMA. We're underneath the 200 EMA. Look at the above EMAs. They are coming right down into the 200 EMA. And as these cross, it's going to push this lower and lower and lower and lower. So that being said, as great as this market structure is, you also have to recognize other factors that can invalidate this really nice setup. And there are a lot of things right now that are working against your favor if you wanted to take a trade on this. One of them, the EMAs. 2, underneath the 200 EMA. 3, Bitcoin. Major one is going to be Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? So be careful with this, guys. Nothing wrong. Again, if you wanted to scale into here, scale into here, scale into here, and scale into here, absolutely nothing wrong for that upcoming news. If I'm not mistaken, I think they have the Ethereum 2.0 scheduled again. They gave us a date again, and I believe it was in August, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't follow the Ethereum promises anymore. I kind of stopped following those years ago. But according to, I think it was Revolve gave me a date the other day, August 4th or August 17th or something like that. I could be wrong, but that's the latest promise that the Ethereum camp gave me. I wouldn't put too much stock in it, to be honest with you guys. Be very, very careful. They've been giving dates for years, and it always gets pushed out at the end. But if this one is the one where they finally do live up to their promise, we're probably going to see a huge move to the upside. This is going to be the catalyst that I think that you'll probably see Ethereum just go crazy. And if you think that you think seeing Ethereum at 4,300 bucks was going crazy, I highly doubt this is going to pale in comparison to the possibility of what Ethereum can do if and when they ever do release that Ethereum 2.0. So just something to keep in mind. Let me take a look at the chat real quick. 12 of us. 12 of us bear market vibes. Yeah, we love bear market. But when Tacoma, if you're buying now, be prepared for potential hold for a year. Yeah, exactly. Guys, the last bear market was 3 years. If if I would have bet people and like literally bet, like put a smart contract together and bet people in 2018 that the bear market was going to last 3 years, I would I would have won every single bet, and there wouldn't have been one person that would have agreed with me. No one. And the funny part about it, guys, is that they all had the exact same reasons people have today. It's the exact same language. For those people who journal it, if they look back, it's the exact same verbiage. I don't journal it because I don't have to journal it. My fucking memory, I live in this shit every day, 7 days a week. I remember clearly. I'm not that old yet. One of the things that I am very blessed with is an amazing memory. So I don't have to fucking journal shit. I remember all of it. And it's the exact same language. There's nothing different. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. There's only one thing that is different this time that we didn't have in 2018, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. But every excuse why we are not that we're going to recover quickly or why we're not going down was the exact same thing. And we went down there. So Darth potentially holding for years is not out of the realm of possibility. It could be that we go down. Now, the one thing that we do have that is different than 2018. Oh, actually, there's a couple of things, but it kind of falls into the same realm, sort of, so to speak, is DeFi and NFTs. So those two things are creating an incredible opportunity that we didn't have back in 2018. It's yet to be proven, though. It's still new. And if you look at the DeFi space, nothing's really holding above Bitcoin's fury. There's some things here and there that will go up when Bitcoin's going down, but we haven't tested a true bear market with DeFi. So it's still up in the air whether it can outpace Bitcoin's bear market. But the technology behind NFTs, and I'm not the expert behind NFTs. Mr. Mo, GQ, Woodsman, those guys are deep into it, so they'd be able to answer your NFT questions much better than I can. But just a quick overview. The technology behind NFTs is kind of like taking DeFi and making it much more simpler. It's you guys hear the term of farming, of yielding. Well, it's complicated. It is not something that's easy. It is very complicated. There's a lot of moving parts. And from what Mr. Mo has explained to me, it literally just simplifies it. Everything is in one contract. And that contract, as you know, is known as NFT. And there's a lot of things that you can put inside of those contracts that just makes banking, your being your own bank, much more simpler. So that, and the fact that every single news channel, every single outlet at some point or another, in internet, on television, everywhere, are talking about NFTs. People are really accepting it, because it's very rare to find a use case in crypto, a real use case where the outside world is using it. And this seems to be one that everyone is gravitating to, because it actually helps put people, it deals with people's money. So, for instance, artists, singers, um, what do you call it? Movies, all those people who rely on royalties usually have to wait sometimes years before they get paid. With an NFT and a smart contract behind it, they no longer have to wait that. All those transactions happen instantly. And can you imagine if you're a ball player, you're a movie, you're an actor, you're a singer, and you have all these hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars just sitting there waiting to get transferred to your bank account, and you have to go through all this red tape, yet you have this system in place where everyone gets paid right away. Who is not going to want a technology like that that benefits everyone? There's no one it does not benefit. So when you think about the technology behind it, I can see where that may be the driving force for DeFi. However, a market cycle is a market cycle, guys. So many times people get caught up with their euphoria on on certain coins, or on the market as a whole, and they fall into that mental state where they think this time it's different. Guys, market cycles, we measure and we spend hours every single day talking about and studying market cycles, because as a whole, market cycles will 9 out of 10 times play out. They might not play out right away, but they are eventually going to play out. It's the behavior of a human emotion. That's what we're measuring here, guys. When you see green candles, it's easy. It's euphoria. When you see red candles, that's easy. It's fear. And humans, we all creatures of habit. Do you think we fall into 618 perfectly almost every time out of coincidence? No. It's because that is a threshold of people's fear. When we see this go up, that's usually people's greed get met by smarter investors that will take profit. And then once they take profit, the fear kicks in, and we all behave the same way. Why does this stop at 618? Because a lot of us are now programmed that if we hit 618, it's the golden ratio, we could feel better. Sometimes we don't feel better. Sometimes it goes either further down. But for the most part, when we see 618, we feel better. If we're holding here and we see 618, there's a little bit of sense of calm that, okay, I think we're nearing the bottom. All of this stuff here, guys, is measurement of human emotion. So when you think that this time it's different, be careful with that, guys. The market, it's still what is it now? You know what? Let's look at it. 1.2, $1.3 trillion. Yeah, almost $1.3 trillion. I always say this and I go back to this because it's true. If you are a market maker and you know that you can take $1 trillion in profit and guarantee that the market is still going to go back up again, would you leave $1 trillion on the table? I wouldn't. I don't know how many people would say, "Nah, I feel kind of bad for crypto Twitter. I feel bad. Let's just leave it there. Let's leave it there. We have plenty of money. We'll make a lot more money later. It's okay. Let's just leave it there." I have a hard time believing that, because every single one of us will buy Bitcoin if it goes down to $3,000. or $5,000. And that would represent $1 trillion leaving this market. Bitcoin under 10,000 bucks. Market makers know they're going to buy. Market makers know that we are basically gamblers. We're addicts. We're exactly like people who go to Vegas and they are gambling addicts. We're the exact same thing. And if you think you're not, ask yourself, would you buy Bitcoin at 3,000? If you say yes, you are a fucking degenerate gambler. It's that simple. You just use charts to make yourself seem like you're smarter, and you want to justify why you're not a degenerate. No, this doesn't justify shit. This just means you use a little bit, you have a little bit more of an education behind you being a degenerate. That's the only thing that this means. This helps us measure where that market, because it works. These tools work for a reason. But the fact that we would buy Ethereum at 574 or Ethereum 86 bucks, they know that we would do that. So if they know that we would buy Ethereum at $86, why would they leave this on the fucking table? That's my theory. That's my theory for us going down. That's what I rely on we all have a reason why we're either going to go up or we're going to go down. That's my reason for the bears. For the bulls, why we wouldn't go down, I don't know. I don't have much, honestly, of a reason why we wouldn't go down, why we would just go up. There isn't a valid argument that I can process that would overshadow $1 trillion. There isn't. Would love to. I've heard a few of them, but at the end of the day, guys, none of us really know. None of us really know. I just feel this feels very 2018-ish. So, I'm going to go with my past experience and what I heard before. But I could be wrong. Let me continue to look at here's the chat box. Let me look at the chat box. Hey, if you guys have any questions, put it on the chat. Let me see. Facts. Cake from now to all-time high is $262. Yeah, and it could, excuse me, 262%, and it could be a lot more as she continues to drop. GQ said, Mark Cuban said if he was in his 20s and had to start building wealth all over again, he would build an NFT marketplace. There's a lot of potential with that NFT. And again, I don't know the complete technology behind it, but from the little tidbits that I get from the community that educates us on it, like Mr. Mo, GQ, and Woodsman, I see the incredible potential of real world use on NFTs. According to the NBC Universal Finance guy, I drove all Hollywood talent are getting NFT agents. He handles royalty payments. See, that's what I was talking about, guys. The technology behind NFTs and the ability for these artists to get paid right away is going to be a huge driver in this space. Huge driver. I've even heard, and I don't usually believe in these things, but seeing the power of what NFTs are driving as far as all the buzz in the outside world, that NFTs have the potential to overshadow the volume that we've seen out of Bitcoin. And I can see that. Because when you think about crypto, it's less than 1% of the world population that are really into crypto. However, there's a majority, there's a huge percentage of the population that want to get into the NFTs. So when you have that type of volume, I can see the NFT one day outshadowing Bitcoin and the volume that Bitcoin represents, or even crypto as a whole, to be honest with you. NFTs are here to stay. I love this guy. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Anyone? No one? Okay, let me look at Bitcoin on a lower time frame. Let me look at a different chart here, a little bit more with some support and some resistance that I have set up already here. I know my chart looks crazy, but it's I've had these lines for a while, but they've worked. They've helped me really navigate. And if you guys have been paying attention to my morning briefs, look at the left hand side column. Look at the numbers that are highlighted in red and green, and you can see these areas. I've had these for months on my chart, but yet look at how well the price action behaves on a lot of these lines. These are just old support and resistance lines. That's all it is, and the new gap lines that I added, which is the purple. We are heading down so far to that covenant area of $30,000 that we want to fill that gap, not the gap, excuse me, to fill that wick, to fill that wick. We still have an unresolved wick. We have this one here that we're filling up now. So we filled up this wick. We're almost filling up this wick. We still have this wick to go. However, when we fill this wick, look at where that lands. This lands at 28,800, which is right above the 100 EMA. Right above the 100 EMA. So it makes sense that if this is the actual week that we fill this wick, that we would come down into the 100 EMA. I'm not saying that we've been doing this for 9 weeks, and we could very well do this for another 9 weeks. There is absolutely nothing that says that we have to do it on this candle here. They can drag this and drag it and drag it and drag it. But one of the things that you have to keep in mind, guys, and remember, very simple TA. The 9 EMA, every time we separate, we come back. Every time we separate, we come back. But yet, we cannot close above the 9 EMA. Right now, we're getting a really nice separation again. We could very well come back again this week to the 9, which will give us a very small window of opportunity for the alt. Very dangerous game. The lower we go, the more, the greater the potential of a flush out. The greater the potential. So yes, these opportunities are there, but you have to ask yourself, is the opportunity to make 5% on an alt for this gap to close worth it for a potential flush of $5,000? Because if this goes to $5,000, we're going to see a 40 to 60% retracement on the alts. 40 to 60% retracement. That seems a lot more, that seems like a greater opportunity to me than a 5% move to the alts. However, there's always going to be those degenerates like myself that just love that we have that itch. If you have that itch the way I do it with a small amount. Do it with the small, do $1,000. Excuse me, do $100. Do $100. Do $100. You know, with $100, $100 ain't shit. Do it with $100. And at least you satisfy that itch. At least you said, but do it with something that is insignificant, that is completely insignificant to you. And this way you get to satisfy that and you preserve your capital, because this is not the drop that we are expecting and that we're looking for. You'll know when it comes. This drop is a drop we're looking for. Look, these massive days where it drops, like this is a 12-hour time frame. This is drop for 3-4 days straight. Those are the types of drops. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. Look at this. These are the drops that we're looking for. Look at what we've been dealing with. When you look at this ain't shit. Look at this. We think we're seeing drops. This is nothing. This is just sideways chop with the very gradual downturn. This bitch is what we want to see. These massive drops here. That's where the opportunity lies. When we hit this here, cake went to $9.43 and then did 80%. That was a hell of a trade on that. So this here, guys, don't waste your capital on this, guys. don't waste your capital. We're not going to do this and all of a sudden just put a green candle. That's not going to happen. We're going to see a flush out. Be prepared for that flush out, because I've been there before. It's an awful feeling when you think you're going to outsmart the market for just one more trade here, and then I promise I'm going to put my wallet away because I know that flush is coming. And you tell yourself that over and over again, and then the flush comes and you were stuck inside of this trade here. Oh, that shit stings. That stings, guys. And again, I am one of the best traders in this Discord, and I can trade better than most people here. Do you know why? One simple fucking reason. I'm better than 99% of you guys, because I lost more money than you. Simple fact. I lost more money than you, guaranteed. That's what makes me so good. And unfortunately, a lot of people have to live through that to understand it. When we built this Discord, me and Mr. Mo, that's what our purpose was. Learn from our mistakes so you don't have to go through them, and you save yourself from the heartache and the loss of money by investing a very small portion into yourself and joining our Discord and learning from us, listening to our stories, understanding how we lost our money, so that you don't repeat the same mistakes. But we're all human. We're all stubborn. Most of us are stubborn. And sometimes we need to learn for ourselves. As much as we can tell you till we're blue in the face what you need to do, a lot of people don't do it. Taking a free position is the best example that I can give you. You can tell people till they're blue in the face to take a free position, and you know the ones that don't, because they will whine and cry when they lose money. You're only crying and whining and complaining when you lose money when you didn't take that free position. So it's really easy to identify who those people are. So don't be us, guys. You're here for a reason. Just make sure that you don't lose the kind of money that we lost when we were learning. You have something very, very special here, guys. You have a community of people that want to help you, that are looking out. Look at our Discord. They're always giving you guys, posting articles, giving you guys tips. Nobody wants to see you lose money. No one at all. However, there's still going to be people that lose it. There's a lot of people in our community, guys, that take a lot of time out of their schedule. They don't need to help educate you, so you don't lose your money. Take that, run with that, embrace it. Right now, as the market is going down, think about the masterclass that me and Mr. Mo put together. We're going to be opening another round of masterclass probably for the month of August. Think about what you've done in this space, what you've done in this Discord, and can you benefit? Are you losing money? Are you going into your entries at the wrong time? Are you exiting at the wrong time? Are you still failing to see the market structure? Are you having trouble understanding what price action does? Are you having trouble with fear, with greed? If you are, think about it. This may be a good opportunity for you to get ready, because 100%, I know Mr. Mo says there's always a possibility that this can go to zero. I love you, cuz, but fuck you. This ain't going to zero. This motherfucker will turn around. Are you prepared? Are you prepared to accept, to be, excuse me, are you prepared for this to go to $100,000? Have you sharpened your skills? Have you sharpened your skills to be ready for that next round? It could happen tomorrow. I may be wrong. I may be full of shit. That Head and Shoulders may never play out. We're already inside of 618. I already showed you guys that. The market makers may say, you know what? Let's not kill the momentum. 618 is more than we need. Let's go up. If that's the case, are you prepared to kill it? If you're not, you may want to think about it. Mr. Seek says masterclass is undervalued at its price. Sign up for the next one before BC and Mr. Mo realize they are undercharging. You know what? We've gotten that. Oh, thank you, Seek. I appreciate that. We've gotten that from a lot of members that are saying that, and we keep it at I think at a very reasonable price for the amount of material and the amount of time that we take. Just like our Discord guys, we don't. There's guys charging $500 a month, $1,000 for Discord. We don't do that. We're not trying to make money off of you. We're just we're taking a very small portion to pay back for our time. Do you really honestly think that me and Mr. Mo need your money to survive? You guys see what we do. You really think that we're depending on? We don't. But one of the things that we've learned in this space when we started, we had a lot of help of the community. A lot of the community helped us. And we early on, we did very well. And we said, you know what? How do we pay this back? And we started Discord. So even from our memberships of our Discord to our master class, we're not trying to take advantage of anyone. Me and him, we put a lot of hours into these master classes, and we're asking for a small contribution to pay for that time. And we still put more time with the members on these on the master classes. So like I said, guys, we're not trying to take advantage of you. We're just trying to allow you to benefit and charging a very small amount for the knowledge that you get. And it's up to you guys. I'm not trying to force it on you guys. If you think you need it, go for it. If you don't think you need it, don't sign up. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. But I'm just trying to address those that are still having a little bit of trouble understanding. And here, let me make something clear, guys. The master class, you're not going to finish the master class and become an absolutely expert trader and never have a losing trade and you're going to kill it every time. No, we're going to give you a very, very in-depth look of every aspect of becoming a trader, investor in this space. Very in depth. You still have to put the work in. Don't think that you're going to take this and this is like a chia pet. You just spread the shit on the little burrow and put some water and it automatically grows. Bullshit. You still are going to have to put in the time. However, you are now going to have a clear path of what you need to do. Which direction you need to take to become that successful trader. That's all we're going to do. We're going to steer you in the right direction. So just make sure that you go in this knowing what to expect. So your expectations aren't, you don't think you're just going to wake up and be a magical trader. Um, okay, take that as a no. Thanks. Oh, no, excuse me. When you zoom out, is there any case for this being midterm accumulation? Um, Bindas, he wasn't laughing at you. He was laughing at my comment of Chia Pet because I make reference to shit that happened in the 70s because I'm fucking old. And I think only only my old folks know what even a Chia Pet is. Could this be a midterm accumulation? I I don't know. It could be. It could be. I just like I said, Bindas, we all have a certain bias in us, and not that it's bias. I think it's more for me. It's more um, trying to rationalize how market makers that are trying to line their pockets, why they would leave $1 trillion on the table. That's the hardest part that I have because I see how greedy they are, and I see how much control they have over this market, and I see how much control they have over us. And personally, myself, I am addicted to this. I know it. I am 100% addicted to crypto. And if Bitcoin were to drop to 3,000, I wouldn't go anywhere. If it dropped to $100, I still wouldn't go anywhere. I would be doing everything possible to buy it. That's a true gambler. That's a true addict. And most of us, whether we want to admit it, are in the same boat. So knowing that, it's hard for me to accept that they're gonna leave it. But you know what? I am I am plankton compared to them. So I don't know their true plan. $1 trillion may be the price that they have to swallow in order to make $10 trillion. Okay, so just think about that. $1 trillion may be the money that they need to leave on the table just so they can attract another $10 trillion. So ask yourself this: if you had $1 trillion and you said, you know what, this $1 trillion is going to make me $10 trillion, would you not do it? Of course you would. So there's a case for both sides, and I wish I was smart enough to know their plan, but I'm not. I'm not. So I wish I can have an answer for you, Business, but I can't give you an honest answer. First step in it is admitting you have a problem. We all have a problem, G Dog. We all have the problem. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. If nobody has any other questions, I just wanted, like I said, I wanted to hang out with you guys. Mr. Mo, I would love to hear from you and your thoughts on the market. Can you give us your feeling about reversing right now opposed to dropping back to 886 like we did the last previous times? What are your thoughts?
Well, right now, broader markets are getting a nice correction. We're down about 700 points, so it's bleeding pretty fast. I started getting alerts earlier just because futures were way off, and it looks like the main driver for this is really the Delta variant, the whole COVID thing. Cases are kicking up. So, of course, it's creating a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear. Market bleeds out. When that usually happens, the riskier assets get sold off first, which means crypto. And so we're seeing a correction in crypto as well. And again, we do see the correlation of everything kind of just, going through its retracement process. People are just, they're jumping into cash right now. It looks like S&P pretty much is beginning to cool off. Bitcoin has been, in its retracement since May. The US dollar, which is it's been going up, which is, I'm still trying to understand why after we printed so much. Gold sitting sideways. So, I mean, we're just going through, I think, a very much needed correction right now. I do think some of these assets are kind of beginning to come into value. I just posted a Matic chart just to kind of, Matic is one of the main networks now I think people look to, right? So we got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, Poly, Matic there. But this is going to provide another opportunity regarding someone has mentioning, is this accumulation? That really all depends on what your objective is. If you're day trading, you're just waiting for the setup, you're probably going to catch this bounce. If you're long, it doesn't matter. For me, I'm pretty much, I've been out of most of everything since May, as I expressed earlier in the Adventures of DeFi episode, with the exception of just a few things regarding the NFT space. I still have all my NFTs. And investments in NFTs continue. I still have my position in Fine, which I'm going to hold. I'm going to be long on that for a minute. But overall, I don't know. I think we probably will continue some of this bleed out. And if we do, I think it's just going to, it's going to provide another opportunity for us to allow assets to kind of go through their retracement process in full. I know that this week coming up, there is a conversation with Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey talking about the Bitcoin that could potentially put a little bit more bullishness into the market. But BC, that summer usually is a cool off period. So this is no surprise to us. We know that summer, everyone just, they're in the Hamptons,
Yeah.
drinking, hanging
Remember,
fun, you know.
remember the summer of 2017 where you were walking me off the ledge because I got my Ethereum. I had 287 Ethereum stuck. Remember, I was upside down in the trade, and those 6 weeks were the worst 6 weeks of my life.
It feels like forever. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
and it was only 6 weeks. But
Yeah.
yeah, that summer is just
Yes.
it's hard. It's a
Yeah,
hard.
summer we get our cool offs, we get our, and we need that also because when you look on a chart and you see the indicators are overextended, it's just like, okay, let this thing bleed out. We had some pretty big candles come in that May sell off we felt, and then we kind of had this sideways action. But I do think we will continue to see more downside on Bitcoin. I think minimum 618. But if it goes, further down, okay, then to me it just means that it's going more into value. There are now over 40 companies with Bitcoin on their balance sheets. So I think that trend is probably going to continue. When Bitcoin comes down, also, I think it also invites more institutional investors to come into the market. We know that they're not going to buy a top, they want to buy more value. I do think though overall the narrative of negative interest rates, we're continuing, the continuation of printing, a lot of the fundamentals in broader markets are very questionable. Bonds, there's an issue with bonds. I think real estate kind of just going through a little bit of a cool off also, where we might have seen the exuberance kind of played out already. But I'm hoping that in maybe we go into August. I think August 2nd is Ethereum's 2.0, the next phase of that. Still bullish on Ethereum in the long run. But look, I wouldn't mind prices coming down some more and being able to pick some of the assets up for a little bit cheaper. I think that's going to be the opportunity. The question is this, going back to what you were saying earlier regarding masterclass, right? So all this is playing out. Question is, does everyone have a plan when these things kind of start to find that support level, start to find that bottom? Do they know the assets they want to be in? And I think by now also in the last 6 months since we've opened up the rec room, people are beginning to understand a lot more the premise of position size, which is good. And that, again, guys, that was my concern when we first opened up. And I've seen the euphoria over and over and over. And when it kicks up, our job is to make sure you guys don't go nuts. Take proper position sizes. If you're going to play a day trade, make sure it's a day trade that you feel comfortable with. Don't bet the house on that stuff. But if you're long, right now is a great time to look at some of these assets. This is kind of how the market plays out. It usually goes through this exuberance run and then the retracements. You guys see the retracements. You'll see a run for 3 weeks of 10,000%, and then you'll see that cool off, which is, it's like watching paint dry. It's just a long process. I think right now, again, broader markets are just we're almost 800 points. We're sitting at 770 right now in the broader market. So again, that's going to put a lot of downward pressure on everything right now. And that's probably going to continue. If we can continue that this week, I think that'll be good. We're probably, making our way towards those lows. So let's see how the week plays out. But start getting ideas together, guys. I think now is a really good time to, we've been looking at a few things. I think maybe in August, maybe we'll start to fill the pantry. If you guys are paying attention. Hey, that's the cool thing about crypto. We get second chances. So
Mr.
I'll
Mo,
leave it there.
Do you remember the Chia Pet?
Yeah. Yeah, Chia Pet was a huge product that
Yeah.
made someone a fortune.
Yeah.
Sprinkle a little water, and that was it.
Yeah, back in our day, guys, we literally people were making money left and right with these stupid ideas. There was even one, I remember, it was called Pet Rock. People were fucking selling rocks for like 20 bucks and just calling it a pet rock and putting it on a cushion. And people were buying it. People were fucking buying it. That's how easy it is to make money out of this world. People were buying pet rocks. Going back to something that was sent to me and something you said a little earlier ago about fine. I got a few links from some members, guys, regarding fine that they found on YouTube. You know, you research stuff on YouTube, and there was three different links. All three of them were saying, it is funny. They were saying fine is a scam. So I listened to them. I listened to them in 2x so I can do it quickly. And it's funny to see people's mentality. So this is and there's like 50 YouTube links about fine being a scam. And almost, I didn't listen to all of them, but they all had the same premise. They called it a scam, guys, because it went to $9 and then it came all the way back down.
They bought the top.
So think about people who are not traders. They think that when something goes to the top and it comes back down, that it's an automatic scam. You and I know different. We know that's a normal market cycle. Bitcoin did that. Ethereum did that. XRP did that. Bitcoin Cash did that. Every single asset that comes into market will have its price discovery to the top, then it finds its bottom, then it goes sideways, and then it goes up. That's the difference between somebody who doesn't understand markets to someone like us here in this community that welcome that understand that when it comes down to that valley of death, that we know that's the best opportunity to buy that asset. So when you listen to those videos, guys, keep in mind, listen to what they're saying, how they're saying it, and what they're describing. There wasn't one single video that would give me anything other than price action for an excuse to call it a scam. So that right there was like, it was funny to hear that because it's like they're just not traded. They don't understand.
Yeah. They don't understand that, you know, an asset needs to go through a price discovery process and find a support level. But I mean, overall, look, the NFT, I think to simplify it, NFT is the new e-commerce. The difference is that with e-commerce, there's multiple intermediaries in an e-commerce. But in an NFT, it's the purpose of technology is to make things efficient. So it's peer-to-peer. I think that market is going to continue to grow. So looking for platforms that are geared towards building marketplaces that are specific to an industry or a niche or a marketplace. I do think Fine is probably, you know, one of them. There's multiple other ones that I see, you know, tremendous amount of opportunity and value in. But knowing kind of the Fine story, Fine is, you know, they have a good premise. Question, you know, for first question, does NFT platforms have a utility? I think the answer is, it looks like it does. It's still very, very early, and I want to remind people of that. NFT space is early. We're early in all this stuff. You know, 2021 was that changing of narrative where crypto went into a 2.0 DeFi. We went into the yield farming aspect, trying to understand it. Where's the risk involved? How volatile will these assets be? Is it correlated to Bitcoin, or is it separated? NFTs, in my book, I think will continue to grow as a marketplace. Of course, we see the first rollout in crypto art. Then we will see an extension of that into other forms of intellectual property, eventually copyrights, patents, trademarks. Fine also did recently the first timeshare. What they sold timeshare in a resort with an NFT. I thought that was kind of cool. 20 cents with an all-time high of $9. That's not really an argument to me. That's just, there's no argument there. It's like, okay, you providing utility, it's 20 cents on the dollar. It's gone through its retracements. It has 4 major VC funds behind it. They have enough fund for a 60-month, runway with a huge team. It's not even listed on Binance yet.
There
so
I was about to say you left the most important part out.
Yeah, it's not listed there yet. And Binance is going through its it's FUD cycle right now, right?
Mhm.
It's bad, it's being banned, and this and that, and
It's the new tether. It's the new tether.
it's kind of like a new tether. Exactly. It's a new tether. So I think that will continue. And you know what? Sometimes you need those narratives to kind of drive the price down, because the
Mhm.
price was, look at all the BNB assets that really ran. I mean, that was, you remember BNB at $30, and we were like, yeah, this thing's
At
gonna break
$6.
$100,
At
and
$6.
this, and she went on and ran, and I think what she put in as a top.
The top
Yeah, it was
was right here at $691.77.
fucking crazy.
Yep. From a low of, actually I have it right here, $4.53.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
fine went to $9.80, and we're at 20 cents.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man, guys, everybody's looking for those 100x coins. Well,
yeah, yeah. Everyone wants to. Everyone want. It's like, it's like, these are the new roller coaster, guys.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Let's see what the it's just tough because Dex Guru is not very user friendly yet. Let me see something here, guys. Let me bring this down here just to give you a little bit of, here we go, $9. Okay, let's do this. We'll take here price. So everybody wants those 1000x, those 100x coins.
Yeah, we just broke
70.
800 points on the Dow. We just dropped.
There we go.
Yeah,
Potential to all-time high, 5,000%.
yeah.
Is that undoable, or is that something that's very difficult to do in crypto? Absolutely not.
Yeah, we
We've
see
seen
that
a
all the time.
ton of these, a ton of these. Imagine $1 becomes, excuse me, $1,000 becomes $50,000. Where is it? Right, I'm right. Right,
Yeah,
50,000. Yeah, 50,000
yeah,
bucks.
that's right. So
50,000
50x.
bucks. Yeah,
Yeah,
50,000 bucks, guys. So something
two
to think about.
2K brings you 100 grand.
Yeah. Think about this, guys. Look at the mortgage in your home, see what it is, take 1% of that. And if you have it, and maybe you were gonna put in a new lawn, or do something, that was insignificant to you that you can hold off. You may want to take a look at that, and you can 50x your money. You have a possibility. Not that it's going to happen 100%. Remember, these are all possibilities, but as an analyst, we stack up the pros and cons of what we do, and there's a lot more pros than cons, and there's a lot more upside than there is downside. So it's just something to think about. Something to
Even
think
to
about.
$2, it's a 10x.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Just say I'm 90% wrong, so I'm gonna put $2, and once it gets to $2, you've got a 10x there.
Yep.
So, but I think overall, I mean, my objective is to continue to market make and to accumulate on this asset as one of them. I have more platforms that I'm in. And I think once I lay everything out, I'll start to share them in the pantry. But this, I think overall, I feel pretty good about what I'm seeing, though. I think if we get a good, healthy retracement, the question, what you were mentioning earlier regarding market makers, there's $1 trillion in the marketplace. And these are numbers that still are still wow to me, because you watch Bitcoin and crypto go from a 10 to 20 billion-dollar market, and you watch throughout the years this thing run up to $2.5 trillion, and then go through its retracement and sitting at 1.3 trillion. But if we wind up taking some more back, and if we put in a bottom, and it winds up being around the $1 trillion mark, That's pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible. But I will say this, and I've said this, I said this months ago. I do think we have probably a good 3 or 4 years of this. It's not going to be straight up. It will be part of market cycles. But I think that the future is exponential growth. So right now, 1.3 trillion. Next year, we're back at all-time high. After that, 5 trillion. And then the 3 year projection, the 3 to 4 year projection that crypto will be $11 trillion asset class. I am in agreement with that. And that looks like it's still the consensus at a lot of the banks. They're still kind of looking at that as a marker. And then the question becomes, if we're sitting at a trillion and there's $11 trillion expected to come in 3 to 4 years, there's only one question, guys. How do we get in front of that? How do we get in front of that? How do we strategically plan for that? And what else can we do? I think and just to shift gears a little bit, BC, to figuring out how do we leverage the collective IQ of the community as well as we grow as a community, and exploring new ideas and new avenues also as the market matures. So I think that things like DAO are going to be something that we have to look at, we have to talk about, and seeing how the market is going to play out, and where those opportunities are going to be. So I'm pretty stoked. When the market becomes too euphoric and feels toppy is usually when I start to get very uncomfortable, and I don't like it. When markets begin to bleed out, I start to enjoy it. That mainly because that's all this pain and all the blood. That's where you make it. Right now, there's a lot of people. How many people do you think are, scared right now? Right. Look at we're at 24 points on the extreme, on the fear and greed index. That's probably going to drop. I think that changes at 7 p.m. Our time here in the U.S. So that's probably going to drop like 10 points. And that usually leads to people new to the space. They're not used to the volatility. It freaks them out still, especially if they're coming from the stock market. They're not used to that volatility. They're used to, a 5% drop, a 10% drop, a 30% drop is, that's just, that scares the crap out of people. But that's why I think we like it. We like the volatility of the space, but it's as you go through the space and as you learn, the market cycle, how assets, work, price discovery. Yes, people will call everything a scam. Bitcoin's a scam. I heard the same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum's a scam, and everything's a scam. But these are new. This is a new market. This is a new asset class. These are new protocols. These are most likely going to be the assets that replace a lot of the payment rails. It's going to and no doubt in my mind that the automation of finance, payments, currencies, securities, commodities, all of it's going to get tokenized. All of it. I think we're going to be in a world of automation, and that might be I think that's probably going to be a better thing that we live in that world, because there'll be a lot more opportunity, a lot more inclusiveness, a lot more liquidity. But we have to figure out what is the plan moving forward. That's really what it's about for me. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
All right, guys.
I think we could wrap her.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with us today. I am leaving Saturday back to California for a week. This is not much here for me to do in the summertime in Arizona. So I just came to basically take care of my grandkids. They're almost back to school. So I've got them for the summer. So I'm going to be here this week with them. And then I leave Saturday. I'm going to Irvine, Newport Beach. So I'll be available this week. Anything you guys need, please take advantage. Let me know. Any DMs that I might have missed, please send them back to me if I haven't responded back to you, and I'll do my best to respond to you. So everyone have a really good day, and be safe out there. Thank you, Mr. Mo.
Okay, guys, have a good one. We'll see you on the next Zoom.